You know, the question for today is, why are we afraid of the world, and why do we live in fear generations upon generations? Hello everyone. My name is James Nussbaumer, and I'm the author of a series called the Master of Everything series. And I'm very deep into A Course in Miracles, and I want to do lesson number 13. I received a message on Facebook. I get messages, which I'm thrilled with, all the time from my readers and friends and followers, and on Twitter and Facebook. And anyways, Edna of Framlingham, England, near London. I'm sorry if I pronounced that incorrectly. She is around my age, and her mother worked with the Royal Air Force back in World War II, before the United States got involved. She had told me, as we messaged about. And her mother died about 10 years ago. And she's been, it's been in her mind, Edna's mind, all the time about her mother. But her mother really, the point of the whole thing was, her mother went through such a traumatic experience. She volunteered for the Royal Air Force over there and worked. Didn't fly a plane, but from what I know from Edna, that her mother was, kind of around the flight line and kind of a support kind of a deal. But anyways, Edna wanted me to talk about a meaningless world that engenders fear. And I thought that this would be a good opportunity for you, Edna. I'm really speaking to you, and for all of you that are watching this. But this is for Edna, because she so graciously asked me if I would do some kind of a response. And of course, I had emailed her and messaged her back on Facebook that I would be doing this video and posting it on YouTube for her benefit. But her concern really is, losing her mother, and her mother lived all her life just in trauma over the war. But and that's the way the world has been, wars. But so, anyways, the subject is a meaningless world engenders fear. This is lesson number 13, by the way, in A Course in Miracles, and I've got to show you my raggedy old version. And for those of you that know me, know where that had come from. Today's idea is really another form of the preceding one from lesson 12, except that this is more specific as to the emotion aroused. Actually, a meaningless world is impossible. Nothing without meaning exists. However, it does not follow that you will not think you perceive something that has no meaning. On the contrary, you will particularly likely think you do perceive it. Recognition of meaninglessness arouses intense anxiety in all the separated ones. It represents a situation in which God and the ego challenge, and I quote, challenge each other as to whose meaning is to be written in the empty space that meaningless provides. The ego-based mind, the ego in us, rushes in frantically to establish its own ideas there, fearful that the void may otherwise be used to demonstrate its own impotence and unreality. And on this alone, it is corrected. Okay, now bear with me here as the Course goes on. This is in paragraph 3 of that lesson. It is essential, therefore, that you learn to recognize the meaningless and accept it without fear. If you are fearful, it is certain that you will endow the world with attributes that it does not possess, and crowd it with images that do not exist. The ego illusions are safety devices, as they must also be to you who equate yourself with the ego. The exercise for today, which should be done about 3 or 4 times for not more than a minute or so at most each time, are to be practiced in a somewhat different way than the preceding ones. With eyes closed, repeat today's idea to yourself. Then open your eyes and look about. Look about you slowly, saying, I am looking at a meaningless world. Repeat this statement to yourself as you look about. Then close your eyes and conclude with, a meaningless world engenders fear because I think I am in competition with God. You may find it difficult to avoid resistance in one form or another to this concluding statement. Whatever form such resistance may take, remind yourself that you are really afraid of such a thought because of the vengeance of the enemy, so to speak. You are not expected to believe the statement at this point and will probably dismiss it as preposterous. Note carefully, however, any signs of overt or covert fear which it may arouse. This is our first attempt at stating an explicit cause and effect relationship of a kind which you are very inexperienced in recognizing. Do not dwell on the concluding statement and try not even to think of it except during the practice periods. That will suffice at present. And I'll repeat that again, which you don't need to dwell on, but just maybe in an instant kind of think about it. And then when dissecting and analyzing come in, drop it and bring it back up later when your mind is clear and it kind of makes more sense. And the statement is, once again, a meaningless world engenders fear because I think I am in competition with God. Hey everyone, I hope that makes sense. And I wish the best for you. God bless. Keep the messages coming, would you please? I'll be glad to do a lesson in A Course in Miracles for anyone that leaves me a message. Thank you, and I wish the best for you.